What if I told you that JPMorgan can now answer complex investment questions in real time during client meetings? Now, these questions used to take their research teams days to resolve. In part 1, we explored how individual AI models like Claude 4, Extended Thinking, and DeepSeek R1 have gotten dramatically better at complex reasoning. But what happens when these AI systems, now really smart, start working together? Welcome, my friend, to the world of AI agents, where multiple AI systems coordinate to tackle problems that would normally require entire teams of professionals. Now, this isn't science fiction. JPMorgan is already using multi-agent systems for investment research, and the results are transforming how high knowledge work gets done. I'd stick around for this video if you're curious to understand how knowledge work can be transformed by AI agents. Maybe you think it's a buzzword. Hopefully this will help you to understand a little bit better. First, let's go through a little bit of context, the agent revolution. Now, we're not talking about Men in Black here.
You know what the difference is between you and me? I make this look good.
So you have single AI versus agent systems. Before, you'd have one AI model handling one task time. It's analogous to you asking one of the chatbot AIs, please proofread my work. Now you have multiple specialized agents working together, and these each will have specific roles and expertise. This is mind-boggling stuff. So you could think of this like the difference between having one incredibly smart consultant versus having a coordinated team of specialists. Maybe you have a researcher, an analyst, a writer, and then a fact checker, and these are all working together seamlessly. Okay, this all sounds very good, but let's actually jump into the real world case study, JPMorgan's multi-agent investment research.
Wow, man. Damn.
I have the video here on YouTube, and like many of the content around AI agent, it's quite technical, so let's just use the Audio platform to try and analyze this here. I just right click and I press view, and let's attach the source here. And I think I want to use an extended thinking model to analyze this. Provide. Okay, let's see what it says. So JPMorgan created a specialist fleet of 4 agents. You have the manager, who kind of is the project manager. He understands exactly what I'm trying to do. You have the data specialist, which searches through the structured databases and financial records to find the relevant information. You have a document expert as well. It reviews unstructured materials, meeting notes, emails, etc. to extract the relevant details. And you have the analytics expert. They use JPMorgan's proprietary models and systems, data that they might have based on investments, etc., to generate insights and visualization. When a financial advisor is in a client meeting and asks why was this fund terminated, the advisor would need to contact the research team, and of course that would take a while, but now it can just ask David, and the response is the work of all these 4 people coordinated. So what was the actual technical breakthrough here? JPMorgan discovered that general AI models, they typically achieve less than 50% accuracy in specialist domains, but through proper engineering they could get this up to 80%, and then the workflow coordination would get up to 90%. So these multi-agent systems really improve the level of output, and of course these agents aren't a complete deus ex machina. The final 10% they attribute the last mile, and it still requires human oversight. So these systems don't just answer individual questions, they handle the entire workflow. They can coordinate multiple types of analysis simultaneously. They learn and improve from each interaction, and they're designed to work alongside humans, not replacing this. Of course, JPMorgan have a huge amount of resource to pour into this, but I think this is a really great anecdote for how we're going to be seeing multi-agentic systems transform the world of work. With these kinds of benefits, it's hard to see why the market won't accept this. More generally, what does this actually mean for professional work? I think there's 3 main things. Firstly, you go from individual tasks to complex projects. So instead of using AI for single tasks like write this email, proofread this, etc., professionals can now delegate entire workflows, research, analysis, writing, and review to coordinated agent systems. And this is similar to what I talked about in part 1. That was more about reasoning architecture, but the same theme is there. As AI matures in competency, you can actually graduate the types of tasks you're doing to reflect such maturation and increase competency. Secondly, AI can go from tool to a team member. So AI agents don't just respond to requests, they could proactively contribute expertise, raise concerns, suggest improvements, so they could be seen more like digital colleagues. Thirdly, I think there's an interesting implication here on what does the human laborer do. One option is that instead of replacing the research guy who's spending a few days to generate the insight for a client, now that work is done by David, the agent, and thus that person now has way more time to focus on more high leverage tasks like strategy, creativity, relationship management that AI systems can't really do right now. Now, I think industries that are suited to this generally are ones that base their information off maybe complex data. So you're looking at legal, consulting, finance, healthcare. And we need to go through a human to ingest and synthesize that data. There's also definitely going to be challenges here. I think the main one is coordination. The orchestration will define kind of how the AI hand off work to each other. JPMorgan use the coordinator as a specific agent in itself. It's an interesting world to think about when these agents potentially are doing these more operational thinking based tasks. If you're a modern day professional, there's 4 things I really want you to take away from this. Firstly, I think you should start thinking about your work as workflows. Break your complex tasks down into steps that can be automated. Great first step for that is to use Otio's workflow platforms. Think about your work more algorithmically and how it could be automated in different ways. If you want to take it to a higher technical level, LangChain, I showcased their video too. Great for AI agents and coordination systems. More generally, and I think this can be applied to human interaction as well, learn how to delegate your skills. It's going to be really important to be able to communicate. The great testing ground for that is in your human-to-human relationships with your colleagues as well. Of course, stay informed. I recommend AI news. I recommend that in the previous video. Also subscribe to this YouTube channel as well to keep up with the latest AI news relevant to the modern worker. And I think those things will prepare you well for the kind of brave new world we go into. The landscape of professional work, I think what JPMorgan and other companies are trying to do is opening up a really, really interesting debate. I'd love to hear your opinions on it. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like, subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. Catch me on the Discord. As I mentioned, I keep plugging stuff, so I'm going to stop. Check out Otio's platform too. I hope you have an amazing day.